fascinating thing that every single morning, right when we start our Birchas HaShachar, the brachas in the morning, we ask Hashem, Shetatzilenu Hayom, that you should save us today from a bunch of different things, including a Shachin Ra, an evil neighbor. We ask for, we don't want bad friends, we don't want unexpected death, but a bad neighbor? I know I live in Montana where neighbors have quite the physical distance, geographical distance, but what is it about neighbors? It's an interesting thing in the Parsha, Mitzorah, when it talks about the tsaras that plagues the walls of a home. It says, V'chiltzu es ha'avonim. You have to extract, you have to remedy the situation by extracting the rocks, the stone of the walls. But it says avonim loshen rabim. It says it in the plural. And Toras Kohanim says that you have to take the stone both of his side of the wall and his neighbor's side of the wall. It goes so much so, the Medrash, to say that even if the neighbor's wall has a separation between your side of the wall, that entire area adjacent to the tsaras on your side needs to be cleared out both on your side and the neighbor's side. And that's interesting, because Rashi takes a different approach. Rashi's of the opinion that only the part that's visible to both sides needs to be extracted, but not the part on the neighbor's side that isn't directly visible to the tsaras. Why would the Medrash take such an extreme perspective on the negative effect of tsaras on a neighbor's wall, so much so it should affect you so dramatically? Says the Rebbe something incredible. The Medrash and Rashi are debating a much deeper concept. How much does a neighbor's negative influence affect us? And obviously that applies also to their positive influence. In other words, when choosing neighbors, how careful do we have to be? Rashi's of the opinion that having a neighbor who's a negative influence, who's a negative, brings a negative vibe, brings a spiritual malfunction to the neighborhood, is not positive, which is why if you can actually see the tsaras, then both sides of that stone and both stones that are connected to each other need to be eradicated, need to be removed. But Rashi doesn't think that it affects you so deeply, the neighbor, the good neighbor, that it penetrates your soul and your heart so much that you would have to remove the part of the wall that isn't visible, the part that's on your side. But the Medrash says that the impact of a negative neighbor, a sinful, pessimistic, negative force in the area can have such a detrimental effect on you, the neighbor, whether you realize it consciously or subconsciously, that when they get the tsaras on the wall, we need to send a memo through the community, so we have to eradicate the tsaras through and through, even if there's a separation between the two walls. Of course, there's a lot of other connections to this, how it relates to the Rambam and Rashi, and a bigger discussion about neighbors and neighborhoods as it relates to Miriam Bas Bilga and the Gemara and Sukkah, but we'll save that for a different day. But for today, let us internalize that. Let's pick the right friends, let's pick the right neighbors, and let's live in the healthy environments that are conducive for spiritual, emotional, mental growth, positive stability, and not, God forbid, the opposite. Have a wonderful evening.